What's going on between us?
We are back again, clocking into our favorite job,
The favorite one.
the
You
one
know
I
it.
prefer. How
Absolutely.
you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. I feel like, God has been talking to us in different ways,
Mm,
and just, brightening our spirits in every way. And I think, it's been a roller coaster of emotions with us, like literally just putting out to the world, like our very first episode the last couple days.
yeah,
And just getting like, so many different, praises and people saying like, man, like y'all own to something. So that's been very reassuring,
facts, facts.
very fucking reassuring.
The
So
support in the community has been
love y'all,
astronomical.
love y'all.
We are so appreciative for tuning in, for listening, and hearing all the things between us. We are, again, Between Us. I am Rachel,
And I'm Vaughn.
and you're tuning in to our favorite job with us.
Man,
What is the title of our episode today?
so the title of this episode is going to be Weight of Expectations.
Oh, that's a weighted title, first of all.
It is heavy.
Heavy. The weight of expectations. So that's a good topic. We can start right off if you want to hop right into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So kind of highlighting some of the three, we got where expectations come from. So that being society, family roles, or social media. We got silent expectations that causes tensions, and then how expectations change as life changes.
Starting off, where do you think most expectations come from?
I think from a foundation standpoint, it definitely starts within the family. I think your family is the first kind of like viewpoint that you have of like what expectations are, what those expectations are to be. And then I think the further you get into life, that's when it kind of shifts.
Yeah.
So I know getting into middle school, you have some of your peers that have different expectations, teachers, like it's just a whole facet of just different expectations that's coming from different people.
Right.
But I think when you're young, it definitely starts in the household first. What's kind of like your viewpoint, baby?
No, I definitely agree. Though your family is always going to be the first to get to you before the world does.
Exactly.
And I guess one of those things I want to talk about is how you navigated expectations as a kid and where does it kind of leave you off as who you are today?
Yeah. I think, I know for me, and we both, kind of attest to this, but being the oldest,
Boy.
Jesus, like when I say that carried a weight of its own,
Yeah.
and just being the first one to like really set the foundation and be the role model of the family, especially for, younger siblings and things like that.
Right.
I know for me, I didn't have like a blueprint on how to be, the best older brother sibling that I could be. I really went through it, just learning from failures after failures after failures. But I knew in the back of my mind that I have to be the example that my siblings need to see and that I know that my siblings ought to see.
Yeah.
So setting those expectations on myself to always shine throughout the adversity and always be the role model that I want my siblings to always emulate was kind of like the unspoken expectation that I had set on myself. But I think, longevity-wise, it did, work out in my favor because being able to set that expectation helped me translate that into, becoming an adult. So I think that's kind of like the take of the expectations that I had set on myself. But, what's kind of like your take on that, baby?
From also being the eldest, I didn't really take into account I was the eldest. It's not really a role that I put on myself until my later years.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that a lot of my siblings look up to me for advice, and I have 11 siblings.
Yeah.
So I just start getting calls out the blue. Hey, what do you think of this? Or hey, but it didn't start until later in life. So at that point is when I kind of put that same level of expectation on myself that, all right, I won't call myself the blueprint.
That you are.
But I do need to, have a certain level of standard for my choices and the things that I choose to deal with. And, always having the forefront of the back of my mind that I am still being watched no matter how old I am. And my siblings still do look to me for, questions and answers and things of that sort. So I just, self-consciously put that level of expectation on myself.
What was kind of like the craziest advice that you gave one of your siblings after like kind of hearing out their situation? What was kind of like that advice that you had gave them that was kind of like something crazy from your viewpoint?
Ooh, crazy is kind of, I'll say this. I give my siblings I give them their flowers. They don't make too many crazy decisions. They don't really come to crazy crossroads.
Yeah.
My advice more so is how to deal with things through life, through work, even through relationships sometimes, and just a general, what would you do? So I don't have any crazy stories, but the way you asked me that makes me feel like you got a crazy story. So I'm going to throw it right back. What crazy story do you have to share?
I personally don't have a crazy story. But I think kind of like alluding to like what you said as far as like showing them or like giving them advice on like how to navigate life. I remember at one point in time, like my younger brother, he was at a crossroad in his life, and him being at home was kind of like the thing that was like pulling him down. And I knew that at the time I was going back to a place that he could thrive and I was going to be able to thrive as well. So I wanted to be that person that was pulling him with me.
Gotcha.
For us to go back to that area that was going to help both
brother.
of us thrive. I try to be. I know I'm not the perfect, big brother.
Kind of are, low key.
I know I'm not, but in certain instances, I'm always thinking about my family and always wanting the best for them, even when sometimes they may not want it for themselves. But I'll say that was like an advice piece that I had gave to him, and it worked out in his favor. The first 2 to 3 years of him being in that new environment really changed a lot for him and really set him on the path that he had needed to be. So.
That's what's up. I'm glad that you were able to, be that person. Sometimes I feel like God puts people in the perfect positions to lend that helping hand. So I'm glad that you were able to be that for him, and it was beneficial for the both of you guys.
Thank you, baby.
So, we kind of touched on expectations and where they stem from us from a family aspect, but I kind of want to dive into what expectations do you feel society has placed on you?
Man, so I'm 31, and I feel like when I was younger, like 19, 20 years old, just being on social media, it feels like that particular expectation was you need a fucking BMW, you need a big ass mansion. Like, what you doing? Like, this is what 21 through 25, this is how the way they're living. Why aren't you living like this?
Right.
And at the time, it felt like that was something that I needed to have in my life. But I always like replayed a moment back when I had a conversation with my mom, and she always used to tell me like, what's meant for you is always going to happen for you.
True.
There's no need for you to rush that shit. Like, it's going to happen without you knowing when it will, but just knowing that it will. But I think me placing that unrealistic expectation on myself from societal norms and things like that, from what people feel is the norm, but the whole time that shit isn't normal. Like, yes, we need to have like big aspirations and big goals for ourselves, but at the same time, you have to enjoy the process of getting there. It's not like an overnight, quick type of thing. Like, that shit isn't real.
Yeah.
So I had to understand that aspect of it. But from your perspective, my love, what was kind of some of those expectations that you felt like societal things kind of placed upon you?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I feel like men have it worse than what we do. I feel like you guys are meant to live up to such an unrealistic expectation sometimes. Like, you have to be a certain height, you have to be of a certain caliber, you have to have a certain career, you have to make this amount of money. Just a lot that, and I can't even begin to touch on, you have to play these types of sports, you have to graduate from this type of college, have this type of education. I don't know. I feel like I can sympathize with men because I feel like you guys have the world looking at you with such a unbelievable expectation. And of course, sometimes all you guys can do is take those expectations and use them, you know, sometimes to help you better who you are, but sometimes also taking it in as negative feedback, because I just feel like if you're always being pressed with things that you feel like you should be doing or should have, it will put you into a state of depression, especially if you can't reach those goals the way that you want to in a timely manner that you feel like you should.
I do want to say this
Go
before
ahead.
you kind of dive into it. I just want to say on behalf of all the men out there that probably like struggle with these type of, conversations, thank you so much for acknowledging the fact that these are like real struggles. But I do want to give you ladies y'all flowers as well, because the expectation of y'all, having to have your body look a certain way,
That's a good one.
Just the multitude of like different things that society places upon women as well, body being one of the biggest things that, has come to the forefront of things that we can like, really see today. Everybody needs to love and appreciate what they have. And yes, it is important to set those goals for what you want your physique to look like in the future and things like that.
For sure.
But I will say that women have there's women that literally commit suicide because of, these unrealistic expectations of them trying to look like a Coke bottle and all this other craziness. Like, women, love yourselves. Like, that's the most important thing. If you love yourself, you're going to love your outside of yourself as well.
That's facts, especially because when you said image, you brought me to how, women are expected to be the person at home, the person in the working field, the person to show up for the kids, to be the motivator, the supporter, the backbone of the house, to make sure everybody makes it out the house, to make sure dinner's cooked, to make sure doctor appointments are being made, to make sure, all the things, all the missing puzzle pieces. Women are expected to put those puzzle pieces together and maintain a physique that social media has pushed while still being supportive of the home life and after popping out children, which pregnancy is the closest that a woman gets to death. And getting yourself back after getting 9 months taken away. I know it sounds like a short time, but some of those...
That shit is not short at all.
It's not short at all. Yeah. It is a process to grow another human inside of you. And then the expectation to get back on your feet and get right back to daily living. It's just, both sides have unfair expectations. That's why it's so important, to have grace for one another, to have empathy for one another, and to, like you always say, the golden rule is treat people the way that you want to be treated. Even if you don't share the same level of understanding, the most that you could do to love somebody is to try to see where you can meet them where they're at.
Absolutely. I always say this, and I could never imagine going through child labor.
Boy.
I could never imagine that shit. But I swear, I tip my hat to you, my mom, like all the women in my life that have had children, all the women that's out there. Like, y'all are the true example of what the fuck a real life superhero looks like.
Oh.
Like, truly.
Thank you.
Like, us men would not be anything without y'all. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I'm not me without you. So, you feel me? Like, just, it's just so crazy that, some people really can't take themselves out of their own and look at life, like, through your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine, like, doing half of the things that you do as a super mom, as a super fiance. It's like just the multitude. So, like, I always make sure that I always give you your flowers, always give you your appreciation of that shit, because I know if I was a single dad trying to do all of the shit that I would lose my fucking mind. Like, I truly would.
You could do it because one thing about it, you don't have a choice but to do it.
Yeah, that's factual.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't just wake up one day and say, you know what, fuck this. You can't. Like, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to Like, you don't have a choice. You got to keep on going.
But I think I will say this: God has made it a lot easier because there is someone that I can lean on in a partnership versus me having to like wear that badge of honor of like doing all of this shit.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you had to do it all by yourself, like the fact that we can lean on each other for those moments is very vital.
Yeah.
Very vital.
That's true. But, and, you know, for the people who are going through that situation by themselves, just be patient, be still, you know, keep your head up, keep your chin up, keep your chest out. I promise you, like, it may feel like a storm right now, but over time, it will all even out and you will have your peace at the end of the storm. Absolutely. It never lasts.
It never do.
Yeah.
You have to get through to get to.
Oh, that's my favorite quote.
I know. We say it pretty much like every other day. So
I have another question for you in this topic.
Okay.
What are some silent expectations in a relationship that cause tension?
I think just from like a societal norm, like the man having to be the breadwinner. You know, in certain instances, some men do have to like operate in a facet of them like probably not having that job that they feel is substantial to like what they feel like they can, you know, I guess like the type of work that they can output. So dealing with that. But I think the biggest thing is some of the men that probably deal with the issue of their significant other probably making more money than them and things like that. So kind of like having like that silent, you know, beef among yourself. And I think that kind of like pours out into them having like some type of tension towards their significant other, even though like it really shouldn't be that way.
Right.
Like if you were making more than me, like I'm not mad at that. Like at the end of the day, like this shit is a partnership.
Yeah.
So like, yes, at some point I have the aspirations for me to like either get to that level or surpass it, but I would never let your blessings and things that God has like placed upon you to like help our family. Why the hell would I want to get in the way with that?
God don't like ugly.
Bro, like
you will
at
not
all.
get blessed having a terrible spirit.
Exactly. That's how the way I look at it. Like,
yeah.
You know, but I think that's kind of like a silent expectation that some men in particularly will probably place upon themselves, especially like if they are super ego driven and things like that. Like I know that that can like cause some ego tensions, like if you feel like somebody's making more or you're not really living in that substantial, I guess like career or whatever it is that you feel that you should be doing. So I want to pose that same question to you, my love.
Some silent expectations that can cause tension. It's a good question. You know, and I feel like I can take this back to something that I had to learn to work on. And that for me was just having a level of expectation for things in our relationship that I had not communicated, and then getting frustrated when things weren't taking place that I wanted to happen. Yeah. It sounds so silly, but you know, you and I feel like we share a one-track mind.
Yeah.
So the second that, you know, I may have an expectation of, oh, this is going to happen like X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't, and, you know, learning to suppress that irritation that comes with tension has been a road for me that I've thankfully learned to drive down with ease, because I've gotten to a place of being able to communicate. And I remember whenever I would have that silent tension, and it would never be anything to where I'm just like fuming, hating you, just like that irritation that just makes me be quiet for a few minutes. And you would keep asking me like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And I just felt like it was never important enough to talk about, because I never wanted to come from a place where it just seemed like I was always nagging about things. But then you helped me to realize, like, if you don't tell me what's wrong, I'm not going to sit here and keep begging you to tell me what's wrong. Like, you're an adult. If you have something that's wrong, then you can communicate that. And you would not beg me. You would just be like, happy-go-lucky, like, you'll tell me whenever you're ready. And that's a part of myself I had to learn. Like, all right, when I feel a certain way, I need to tell you. I need to communicate it. And you have done an amazing job at making me feel comfortable enough to tell you. And I think that's where that neglect to tell you was coming from. You know, in past relationships, I just never really felt comfortable communicating how I felt if I felt like it was something petty, because of the way it would be made to feel irrelevant. So yeah, that was my way of, you know, coming to terms with the silent expectations that would cause tension, and how I managed to overcome it. Is communicate, but also having a partner that's open to letting you communicate in those safe spaces.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest key of it all. And we done talked about this numerous of times. Like, I know it's kind of like being a dead horse, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what type of relationship it is, business relationship, whatever. Communication is key in any relationship that you are literally navigating.
Yeah.
That is the key.
That is it. It's that simple.
It's like,
I mean, but it's not simple. That's
it's
why.
It's not.
That's
and
why.
it takes a two-way street.
It does.
Like, I have to be willing to do it. You have to be willing to do it. We have to meet in the middle, but it has to start somewhere. And that practice has to start with that open level of wanting to do it.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, communication is key, but there's also components to that communication, such as respect, such as the comfortability, such as being vulnerable. So yes, it's easy, but then again, it's not.
Yeah. I only say that it's the key because it does lead to like many other things.
Yeah.
But like you said, you do have to have that willingness to do it. You have to have that vulnerability, and it has to be a two-way street. Like, I can't pour into you and, you know, I don't feel like it's being reciprocated.
Yeah.
Because now I got to draw back.
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely. And, you know, it took trial and error to find the yin and the yang to our relationship. It wasn't something that occurred overnight. Like, you and I have been together for nearly 5 years. That's my girl math.
I'll let you take that.
Yeah, thank you.
5 years.
Yeah. So it's it's a process, you know.
Yeah.
What was it? It's a marathon, not a run.
It's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got to practice for it.
I feel like that should be the mantra for every human being on this earth, because I think, and probably older generations like probably understood this better, but I think with the evolution of social media, like, a lot of things have been like an easy bake, like a microwave. And I heard like somebody say this about our generation, but like, we are the microwave generation. Like, we always want something the next day, or we want something very quick. And that is like a handicap for some of us.
Yeah.
Because when we don't feel like we got it in that fast pace of time or that fast pace of duration, now we feel like, oh, fuck, like, it's over with.
It's over.
Now. It's over with.
Say I'm cooked.
Yeah, I'm cooked. But no, that's not the case. Like, God is literally working behind the scenes and making things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. We can't rush greatness.
Yeah.
Can't rush that shit.
You can't. And, you know, it kind of brings me back to a quote that you and I were talking about on, you know, if you really want something, God will give you the ingredients to the cake. He won't just hand you the cake.
Yeah.
You gotta cook. You gotta get in the kitchen. You gotta get a little dirty. You gotta put it in the oven. You gotta bake it.
Yeah.
And then frost it, wait for it to cool. Then you can eat. Then you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I think you said a word right there.
Absolutely.
You did.
Absolutely.
I think it's time for us to jump into our next segment of What Would You Do?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to kick us off.
Okay.
What would you do if family expectations weren't aligned but never discussed?
Knowing me and the way that I am, I need full clarity and full transparency before I dive into any situation. I can say that when we first started dating, I never had told my mom about the fact that you had a kid. I think they went and did like their own investigating about that, and they brought it to me, and I was just like, yeah, I knew that. That's not going to change like anything about like the way I feel about her, the shit that I have going with her. Like none of that is about to change. But I think that gave my mom that clarity, because I think for her, she was just mainly scared at the fact that her son who doesn't have a kid, that probably never dealt with somebody that had a kid, how is he going to navigate that type of situation if he never been in it? But I had to reassure her that, you know, my expectations wasn't to just jump into something that I didn't feel like I was ready to do.
Yeah.
I felt like I was old enough to like handle a situation like that. You know, maturity wise, financial, spiritually, all those things. I felt like I had checked the box on all of that.
Right.
But I think I had to like set that expectation with her and give her that clarity that, you know, I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations with like different people. And I just feel strongly that this is the relationship that I need. This is the relationship that I want. And she checks all of the boxes for me. So if that's an issue with you, that she has a kid, then you need to deal with that. But at the end of the day, that's not going to change anything for me. And I told her, you know, I'm ready for this. And then I think another thing too was telling her that I come from that. Like when my dad came into the picture, I was literally the same age, like 4 or 5 years old. So who better to be in that situation than me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I
feel
had to look at it from like different angles, but I think it does come down to you giving your family that clarity of like what it is, what that expectation is. And if they don't rock with it, I mean, they're free to feel that way, but that's not going to change the way that I'm going to treat my significant other. And we're going to have those sit downs, we're going to have those conversations until my family get on board.
Yeah.
But I was blessed and fortunate and lucky that I have a family that's open-minded and a family that's willing to do things based off the fact that they kids love a particular person and they fall in love with that person too. Most situations probably aren't going to go that way, but you have to find it in yourself. If you want that relationship to work, you have to block out the noise, block out all the shit that's going on, fight for that person, and eventually, hopefully, praying that your family will probably get on board with that.
Right.
But putting a bow on it, you have to have that conversation and set that expectation with your family if they feel that that person is probably not for you.
Okay.
That's the way I will handle that situation.
You handled that very well. Do you want to ask the next one?
Sure. What would you do if one partner felt overwhelmed by being everything?
You know, it kind of brings me back to how I was saying that level of expectation for women and men. You know, it's even but in different ways because we have those expectations based off of different things.
Yeah.
Now, if one partner felt overwhelmed by everything, I think it's worth a sit down and a discussion.
Absolutely.
To see where an imbalance is. And this is something that I mentioned before, like we like to have our date nights, but my favorite date nights with you have been at home, candlelit, and us just asking these same types of questions, but to each other. So that way we have a full understanding on our communication styles and ways that we can, you know, hash everything out and put it on the forefront.
Yeah.
But I think in this scenario in particular, it's important that you listen to what your partner is saying because being overwhelmed is not it. Being overwhelmed is not it. That is a different level, a different feeling, especially when it reaches a boiling point where you're like a shaken up Sprite bottle and you're just going to explode.
Yeah.
So as a partner, the type of partner that you should be aligned with is somebody that can see where you're at before you reach that breaking point. And I feel like recently, I actually feel like this was like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And it was the start of a work day. And I just felt like I was so overwhelmed because I had so much. That was literally a few days ago. I felt like I had so much. If it wasn't, I felt like I had so much to do that that morning, I got up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I scribbled out a to-do list and I just stared at it and I was like, fuck, man. On top of like the holidays, like I just was so overwhelmed. So whenever, I always know when you're up because you send me a daily devotional. So whenever you sent me that, I ran in there and I was just like, you were like, what's wrong? And I was just like, man. And I just remember I was rambling off all the things I got to do. And you're just like, all right, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to handle this. You go do this. Do you need anything else from me? That's the type of partner I'm talking about. Like, ooh, I was like, you know what?
I could just feel that weight that was on you, like seriously.
Yeah.
And I can't just sit there. Like it's just something in my DNA that won't allow me to just sit there knowing that you're going through different things and me not trying to take something off of your plate in order to make that shit a whole lot better.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you more. But I feel like that shit should be innate. Like
It's
it
not.
should be.
Sometimes it has to be explained to people because
Yeah.
some people can't see besides themselves. But thank God it's embedded in you. But for this particular situation, what do you think? What should that person do whenever they feel overwhelmed by everything?
I think you said a word, you know, it really boils down to the communication. I need to discuss this and like figure out, like do a root cause analysis on why do I feel overwhelmed.
Right.
And if it's something that's, you know, from the relationship or external forces, whatever the case may be, like that's why I have a partner to talk about these different things.
Yeah.
And if they're not giving you that outlet for you to even talk about those things, then that's another issue in itself.
Yeah.
But being overwhelmed, like you said, that's a whole different beast in itself.
It is.
Because now I'm ready to just shut down and like not want to do anything at all because of that overwhelmment. So I think it does boil down to the fact of having that communication, having that discussion, and then figuring out like where is this even coming from? Where is this overwhelmment coming from? And if we can attack that particular issue, then hopefully, you know, it starts to die down from there.
What ways work best for you in particular?
I think for me, the best way is, you know, I think I have to do like an internal investigation. So like asking myself, like, where did this even stem from? Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
All that good stuff. I think I have to write out a list, you know, to like really give myself like a clear, concrete, you know, vision of like, okay, I was dealing with this day, dealing with that, dealing with this, dealing with that. But like, was that the main thing that like caused me to feel overwhelmed, or was it that? And like just really just ranking them, you know, off different things that I felt. And then, you know, if it's something that I want to come to you about, that I felt like that was that particular thing that like truly overwhelmed me, let's have a talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Well, it's that simple to me, but I know it's probably not that simple for everybody.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
I think it does, you know, come down to you asking yourself those questions first and then having that conversation with your significant other.
Absolutely. And it's funny because, you know, it's a little off topic, but we were having a discussion about, you know, listing out your priorities. And this is just a little side note on how we deal with stress in corporate America. Okay.
Man, that's a beast in itself too.
But
Shit.
you and I have two different styles.
Yeah.
So what's your style?
Dealing with 9 to 5 stress.
That, but also prioritizing.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
So shout out to my former supervisor. I look at bro like a big brother.
Yeah.
But he had taught me a strategy from just like a prioritization, but like time management as well. And there's 4 buckets that you need to place certain situations in. So it's urgent and important, urgent but not important, important but not urgent, and then neither. And I think being able to categorize certain issues. Now, I will say this. Most things are probably going to be either in that first or the very last bucket. But some of the things that's like in between, you can kind of like figure out like, okay, this is urgent but not important, or this is important but not urgent.
Right.
Really just depends on the timing and the duration. But that was something that really helped me in the time when I needed it, because I felt very overwhelmed with like some of the tasks and things that I had to do within like, you know, the time frame that I needed to get them done. So being able to have that one-on-one conversation with that supervisor, he taught me that particular format.
Gotcha.
So I think I was able to use that now in like some of those high stress, high pressure situations that I face. And I ask myself like, is this urgent and important? I really need to get this done. All right, bet it goes in that bucket. But is it important but not urgent? All right, cool. Like I got a little time to like probably get it done, but I want to get it done in a timely fashion. But if it's neither, you don't have to worry about it.
And that works well for you. I love that style.
But what's yours?
What works well for me is I'm a Leo. I love praise.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things that work well for me. I realize like I do better when I'm praised.
Yeah.
So I have an app called Task. And what I do, like at the start of my day, I put it all in there and I organize it, and it's cute and it's aesthetic, and those things matter because if it's going to be some chaotic shit, at least I can categorize it in a cute way to make me not feel so bad about it.
Yeah.
And as I'm checking things off through my day, it's just like a little click, and it's like a ding, and it goes away.
Yeah.
And when it goes away, that's the stress going away with it. So that's what works for me in corporate America. That's what works for you. You guys are more than welcome to take those tips and give them a try. Because we're all like a hamster on the wheel trying to figure it out.
Or you could just go to sleep.
Yeah,
Take
that's
you
like
a little
our
30-minute hour nap and then come back to it, bro.
That's a strong
Like,
second. That's all.
just take a nap.
We're gonna do
man.
that shit regardless. Actually, we're like, it's crazy how, kids need naps in the middle of the day. Start getting cranky. You need a nap.
Yeah.
And that's how we are. Like
Yeah.
the circle of life is really crazy because we're gonna take a nap.
Like I done took supplements, vitamins, everything to like
Man.
help me stay up throughout the day.
Yeah.
But when that 5 o'clock crash hits, ain't shit you can do to stop it. Like you need a good little
need a
30-minute
nap.
window. Just catch up on some rest. Like
Yeah.
I think taking a nap is very essential and very important, especially for like some of those high stress jobs that some of
Man.
us have
Yeah.
in today's society. Like
Yeah.
you need some type of level of relaxation to clear your mind of some of the craziness that just happened, and then being able to refocus, realign, and like tackle that shit and get it done.
Or you could play 2K.
Or you can play 2K, but that shit causes another level of stress sometimes, bro. Like we ain't even gonna get into all
Like,
that.
all
but
right, I thought this was supposed to help me, and now you over here yelling at the TV. I have another
man.
question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what would you do? Again, what would you do if expectations changed after commitment?
So I think that requires another realignment. So going back to the drawing board,
Okay.
after we get married, the things that we probably placed as like, this is what we need to get done, this and this and this and this and that shit is definitely inevitable to change after we actually get married.
Yeah.
So being able to go back to the drawing board, if there is certain things that we want to carry on, we can. But I think, it's inevitable for things to change. Like things are going to have to change. So I think, it's going to take literally going back to the drawing board and figuring out like what those changes look like. That way it's not just beneficial for me, but it's also beneficial for you as well.
Absolutely. You said it needs realignment. And I don't know, maybe we've been in the corporate world a little too long, but I think a quarterly meeting about us, our relationship, our finances, our communication styles, ways that we need to work to pay off some things that we need to invest in. These are conversations that need to be had more often. Like our quarterly meetings coming up, actually. And it's best to do this. Start it off during the new year.
Yeah.
Start clean slate.
Yeah.
Like, I actually want to get into a place of actually like scheduling a meeting in a conference room and doing this. Because, usually we just do it in our office.
Yeah.
But I think, adding that level of formality really, it's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere, I think, that helps, encourage what we're trying to accomplish.
I definitely agree with you. I think setting the environment is the key component to like really making us feel like, we're actually in the moment of like really knocking out certain things.
Yeah.
That has been like our tradition of like just being at home and doing it. But I think going into the new year, especially when we get to the end of 2026, going into 2027, being able to put ourselves in like a conference room, like you said, and things like that, and knocking out those different tasks, I think for one, it definitely will unlock like a new mindset for us going into the new year.
For sure.
But I do still love like our tradition of what we already do,
Same.
especially with, you know, praying over our vision boards. Like that's what allowed us to like get to this point, you know? So I agree with you, my love. I definitely do. All right. So next segment is the mirror moment. So the expectations that you didn't realize that you were carrying.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the expectation that I don't realize that I carry a lot is having it all figured out and it being perfect. Like with you saying, you know, you're a super mom, and that's, I guess, because I know what I can be. So I try to be that all the time. But I don't realize, you know, whenever I'm trying to be super mom, that I'm putting expectations on myself that I can't always carry out. And then, you know, I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm trying to be or keep chasing that person that I know I can be. So something that I'm doing to mitigate that is, you know, take into account that I am still only human, and sometimes I can just take off what I can chew, take off a little bite of what I can chew. What are some expectations that you don't realize that you're carrying at the moment?
I think for me, the expectation that I carry is thinking that, kind of like you said, like thinking that I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
But I think for me, more specific is thinking that that not having my biological dad in the picture was the greatest thing for me. The only reason why like I had that expectation was because like through the years, it hurted me really bad that, you know, I know it took two people to create me, and knowing that there was that one person out there that truly like didn't care like how I was doing, and it was just like a whole new level of hurt that I created an expectation for myself to like not let that person like get in my head or not let that person see that they had affected me. And the older I got, the more I started to realize that this person did hurt me. And I'm dealing with that hurt like every other day.
Yeah.
Like it's like I even like, I ain't gonna lie, like I cry sometimes like when I see like father and son moments.
Yeah.
Cause it's like that's still like a pain that's within inside of me. And I try to build up like this expectation that that shit is not going to hurt me, it's not going to affect me. But the older I got, the more I started to realize like that shit did. And I know that at some point, you know, it's gonna take for both of us to like have that conversation. And I love that my dad, my stepdad stepped into the picture when he did, because not having like a father figure at all probably would have changed the trajectory of like who I became as a man.
Yeah.
But I still needed to like hear my biological father like say like, you know, son, I'm proud of you, or, you know, son, like you're doing a great job, keep doing it, like keep it up. Like I know I was doing better than him. I know I was doing, you know, X, Y, and Z that he probably wasn't doing. But that shit still hurt to like not hear that person say that.
Yeah.
So that was the expectation that I put upon myself to not want to hurt.
How do you feel like you are navigating through that hurt?
I think being with Aiden on a day-to-day basis has truly helped transform the way that I think about my father and the things that I felt like I missed out on. I try to make sure that I'm giving him all of those things that I felt like I missed. But I think the true solution is going to be for me and him to have that conversation one day. Maybe it's in like an actual therapy room, or maybe it's just me and him like just talking.
Yeah.
But I do know that the older I got, the more I started to realize how much that shit really did hurt.
Yeah.
And I think just praying and, you know, just seeing like how the way Aiden and me and him connect on so many different things, I think that's what really keeps my spirits high and keep me motivated. But it's still like it's a journey. It's a growing journey.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that I have y'all to lean on in those moments when I do feel that I'm just super hurt, and like just small little memories of like just take me back to that, you know, that child in me
Yeah.
that is still kind of hurt.
Yeah.
So
Well, I wanna tell you that I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for a multitude of things, but first, you know, acknowledging the source of the pain and finding ways to deal with it the best way that you know how to,
yeah,
because these are things that you shouldn't have to navigate. You know, there's not a how-to book with how to deal with this level of hurt. But the fact that you are doing the best that you can and handling it with such grace and still maintaining, you know, your composure and your decorum about you, I can't tell you how proud I am.
thank you, baby.
Especially for not letting that situation turn you into a different person.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people take a situation that happened to them and use it as an excuse for how they are today. You are the complete opposite. Like, you are one of the best father figures I've ever seen. And you would think that you have had that same exact treatment the way that you are able to give it to Aiden. So while it hurts, sometimes God will, I don't want to say like use you as a sacrifice or a scapegoat,
they
because
use my experience as, you know, like the next fuel or the next motivation for the
exactly.
next person.
And with that, you will be fulfilled. So don't think of it like, you know, I had to go through this at what cost.
Yeah.
You will be fulfilled and you will be made whole once you get to the end of that journey. You're still very much in the middle of it.
Yeah,
And it's going to take, you know, time. It's going to take conversations, and it's going to take a lot of tears. And it's not going to be an easy fix, but I'm with you every step of the way, and I'm here to support you in whatever ways that you need.
thank you, baby.
Always.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that, you know, from the bottom of my heart, and that's why I say God don't make no mistakes.
He
When he
don't.
place, you know, the right people in your life, like you need to fight for those people, because ain't no telling where I would be. Ain't no telling who I would be, you know, if I didn't have the village of people that I do have in my life. And I'm just so humbly grateful and so thankful for everything, every moment, every experience, just a multitude of different things that I have went through in my life for me
Yeah.
to be where I'm at. So,
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people don't even know the half,
yeah.
because you don't look like what you went through at all. And that right there deserves its flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we could dive into the next one. If
Okay.
you're ready to. The expectations placed on you that felt unfair.
Wow. I guess an expectation that has been placed on me that felt unfair is probably because of work. I can't help but to be an overachiever. And anything that I do, anything that I touch, I want to be the best at it. And it's just, you know, my dad's words, I think, because he has always told me, do it right or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Do it right or don't do it at all. So
Yeah.
I've taken that and I've applied it to, you know, damn near everything that I do. And doing that at work is a slippery slope, because once people realize, oh, you do a great job, you could do the great job of everybody else.
Man.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love what I do. I love the field that I am in. But also, it's important to set boundaries. And it's important to say no in times, even when you want to say yes, because when people realize that you're good at something, it will sometimes become a curse. What about for you?
I think an expectation that was placed upon me that I feel was unfair, but I kind of had to step up and do the shit anyway, was me being like the oldest, like I said in the beginning, but
Yeah.
really having to raise my siblings. No knock to my parents, because I love y'all dearly, but I feel like that was a true unfair expectation, because I was still a kid. I still needed to grow up. So there were things that I had to learn like on the fly, and still have to be there in multitudes a different facets for my siblings and for myself.
Yeah.
And being that young and like trying to learn how to navigate that shit, it felt like the world was like on my shoulders. And I love my siblings to death. Like I give my life for them. But it was times where like I wanted to just have and like just be myself in moments, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like I have to like worry about them, do X, Y, and Z. And it feels like now that I'm older and I don't have to worry about them, I still do worry about them to a certain degree. And I know that they're grown, they have their own lives and things like that. But it was so innate for me to like always worry about them and like kind of be like a third parent to them and things like that, that it's hard to kind of like break that cycle. But I remember having a conversation with my mom before, and this was when like me and my little brother had got into it. You know, I was just so used to like always telling them, this is what y'all need to do. This is what we have to do. This and this and that. And when I was getting pushback from them and like them not wanting to do it, now I'm ready to fight. Cause it's like, wait, hold on. Like I'm y'all older brother. Like y'all do what the fuck I tell y'all to do.
Exactly.
And they like, nah, like the fuck? Like I'm grown. I'm this. I'm not. No, the fuck you not. You not grown. You not.
Yeah.
But having that conversation with her, you know, she really level set me and was just like, they are grown.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they appreciate everything that you do for them and things like that, but they have their own life. They're grown now. Like, everything is a little different than what you used to.
Yeah.
But that was like a really unfair expectation that was placed upon me. So, like, that was all that I knew. So now that I'm older, and this was probably like in the last maybe 4 or 5 years that I've come to that realization that I can't have that expectation no more.
Yeah.
Like, I got to let that shit go.
And how does that feel, knowing that it's not an expectation that's placed on your shoulders anymore?
It still feels like it's there, but I know that it's not. But I think just over the years of having that, it feels like it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know now consciously that that's not something that I have to be worried about anymore, but it is still something that creeps into my mind that I have to worry about them. I have to do this, I have to do that. But I am very fortunate and very grateful that they have come to the point where like they do understand how to navigate the world on their own, and I don't have to be there all the time, or like us always having to be around each other in order for certain things to get done for them. Like, they got it now.
Yeah.
So I am very appreciative of that.
Well, again, I got to give you your flowers because, you know, having that level of responsibility so young is never fair. You know, you are supposed to have your childhood and be a kid. That's the purpose of it. And, you know, it just wasn't your time to be an adult. So you doing the best that you could. I'm speaking to the little kid in you.
Yeah.
You doing the best that you could.
You've been showing up a lot tonight.
You did a good job. In case nobody's told you, you did a great job. You did the best that you can. And sometimes that's all you can do. But, you know, if there's ever anything I can do to help you relive out your childhood moments, whatever that may look like, I'm happy to do it with you.
I'll be doing it with Aiden most of the time, I swear, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, like I said, it's no knock, you know, to anybody. Like, I understand, like, the situation and life circumstances that we were going through, like, it required, you know, for me to, like, do that and, you know, really help my mom in situations because she didn't have nobody else. She truly didn't have nobody else in those moments. So, you know, I think that's, like, another thing that I try to look back and, like, figure out, like, where do I get that innate, like, wanting to help other people, like, wanting to do this and wanting to do that for others.
Yeah.
It came from those situations of, like, just seeing my mom in those super vulnerable moments and, like, really needing somebody to help alleviate some of the things that was going on. So, you know, I looked at it at that time as me trying to help my mom, but I didn't know that that wasn't, you know, the right thing for a kid to, like, want to place upon themselves in that moment. So I look at it like, you know, we live and we learn, and I love my parents to death, and, like, I wouldn't change anything that happened, but it is, you know, something that I have to deal with, or something that I have to, like, be conscious of, that was a moment in time that truly forced me to be older than what I was. So
Yeah. Well, again, you don't look like what you're going through, or what you don't look like what you have been through.
thank you, baby.
And again, I'm proud of you for
Thank
how
you.
far that you've came.
Thank
And
you.
I know your mom appreciates you, and I know she loves you so much, just as much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Literally the sole motivation of a lot of like different decisions that I made in life.
Yeah.
And like I always still keep my family in the forefront of like any decision that I make. But now I've been able to like have a refocus because now I have my own family. And, you know, the decisions that I make aren't just going to be beneficial to me, but it also has to be beneficial to you and Aiden as well.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our next segment is our Q&A.
Q&A. It's the favorite part.
All right. All right. We actually got some good questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it wrong to miss being single even though I'm in a healthy relationship?
I guess this is where root cause analysis is very important, and it's going to
Absolutely.
take a deep dive to see exactly what do you miss about being single, because this is a loaded question.
It is.
If you miss, the time to yourself, I would recommend taking yourself out on more solo dates. I would recommend having more time to yourself. I would say, prioritize you more rather than prioritizing a relationship. Well, still prioritize your relationship, but you need to be putting yourself on that same pedestal. Now, if it's because, you miss the thrill of dating and, flirting and having something new, yes, it's wrong. It is wrong, but there's ways that you can fix this. It's a two-way street. Either one, you can find ways to spice it up. Like, I know you've seen those articles, how to spice it up in the bedroom. Like, go tap into that.
Some toys or something.
Yeah, or something. Can't relate. Or you can, or it's time to go. Or it's time to live out your best dreams. And, if you're in a healthy, happy relationship, like you said, I do hope that you realize that there is not much out there. You said healthy. There's not much of that out there. But I do wish you the best on that journey. Do you have anything to add to that?
Not necessarily. I think you said it better than myself. It really does boil down to, and we kind of had said this too on another episode, but it really takes for you to understand like who you was as an individual before you jumped into that relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think in most cases we lose sight of who we were and try to evolve into somebody else when whole time that person fell in love with who you were at the beginning. Now, yes, you do need to evolve in some type of facet, but you still need to be who you were at the core of all of that.
Absolutely.
Because in some instances, that's why some people fall out of love, because they don't even recognize who that person is anymore.
Exactly. They fell out of love with themselves and fell in love with you. And just real quick before we get into the next one, that's why I always say you can be in love, but never be crazy in love, because those are one of the things.
Bro, I remember you told me that, and I was just like, "What the hell do you mean by that?"
Do never be crazy in love. Crazy in love is stupid in love, and I can't be with anybody who can't think for themselves, because you're doing things out of straight stupidity.
Yeah. I forgot what stupid thing I was trying to do. But I remember you was just like,
That's stupid shit.
Are you sure? Like, I think you may want to reevaluate that. Like, I love you. Like, I love you. But that's kind of dumb. Like, I wouldn't do that for you. I'm just letting you know. And I was like, what the fuck? But it made me think, like, damn, like, am I doing this just out of, like, me just wanting to do something, like, really fucking crazy? Or like, am I truly like doing this shit out of like pure intentions and like whatever the case may be? But no, that actually like recentered a lot of the, things that I wanted to do just out of probably stupidity at that time. But I thought it was smart,
Question for you, babe.
Yes, ma'am.
The question asks, He says he loves me. However, each time he's upset with me, he puts his hands on me, and it's really conflicting. What should I do?
Dealing with a domestic violent relationship, it's always best to leave that shit alone.
Yeah.
Always best to leave that alone. No person is worth going through if they have to put their hands on you to express the way that they feel. Nothing is worth that.
Yeah.
Your moral dignity and you as a person matters the most, not that situation. So I think leave that as soon as possible. I've witnessed and seen, different people that literally put themselves through a situation like that just because they thought that person was in love with them. And that's not love.
Yeah.
Like, that's far from love. So I pray for that situation. I pray for that person. But in all honesty, you need to leave that alone because, like you said, that is very conflicting. Somebody that loves you wouldn't put their hands on you, no matter what the issue is. Like, even when I raise my voice in certain instances, like, that does not feel like me. Like, yeah, nah.
That ain't it. So there's no fixing that at all. It's over with.
Yeah, like, I think if you get to a level where you're putting your hands on somebody, you done lost all respect for that person.
Yeah.
You lost all respect.
Absolutely.
Like, there's nothing left but respect when you're dealing with anybody in a relationship.
Absolutely.
And if I get to the point where, like, I feel like I need to put my hands on you, that shit is over with.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
So that's my honest take on that.
I
Like,
agree.
Leave that shit where it's at. Like, there's like a plethora of like different hotlines to, call to like really help in those situations. But ma'am, I wish you the best. God bless you.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a man that loves you.
Yeah, for sure. And, same with men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's women beaters too. They're out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, take into account you never know when will be the last time. And, I think a lot of, individuals in those situationships, they get a feel for how it usually goes, what the timeline looks like. Oh, he gets mad. This happens. X, Y, and Z happens. But what happens when things are taken too far?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you may have an idea of what that timeline may look like as that person goes through whatever they go through with you. But when it hits the point where it's the last time and then you can't even speak for the situation anymore because you're no longer with us, those are things that you need to take into account. And also, if there's kids involved in the situation, kids that are watching, kids that are very aware, and kids that will now turn into adults and be okay with those same situations because you said, well, you may not then say, you made them to feel like it was okay, and now it is okay.
Yeah. You made it normal.
That's a generational curse, by the way.
My heart just weighs heavy in situations like that, man, because, in some instances, like, there is no way out, but I think that's like an illusion that some people feel that there's no way out, but there's always a way out.
Yeah.
But they do tend to like fall victim and fall back into that trap because that person will probably change for like, a day or two or a month, whatever the case may be. And it kind of alludes to, like you said, like, you never know when is the last time if the patterns are continuously always the same. So you think, all right, they just did this, but I know like in a month or two, like, everything is going to be fine.
Yeah.
But now it gets to the point where that month never comes.
Yeah.
And now this person is no longer here with us.
I need y'all to run a strict program.
Yeah.
The first inkling of a red flag, I don't think you have ever raised your voice at me. We've spoken to each other in tones, but never to the point where we was ever yelling at each other. And like you said, that's when that respect goes out the door. Yeah, pack it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, dude. It's not coming back.
Lock 'em up.
Oh my gosh, babe, what is your quote to sum up this episode?
Setbacks will teach you lessons that winnings never will.
Ooh.
I know a lot of people could probably attest to that because there's been, probably minor or major setbacks that we felt like were going to keep us from that end goal of like winning whatever that was. But in the same time, that setback taught you how to be patient and enjoy that win once it came.
You ate with that.
Hey.
It puts me in the mindset of, minor setback for a major comeback. It's something you always say.
Absolutely. I have at least like one or two people in my life that I've literally seen like have the most major setbacks to like a phenomenal fucking win. And it's just like, if that's not God,
I don't know
I
what
don't know
is.
what is. Like truly, like this shit is like mind boggling. Like it's shit that I've witnessed in my own life with myself. I'm just like, bro, like if God didn't like get me out of that, like
exactly.
What? So
exactly. No, that's good.
What's your quote, my love?
My quote is, I found my rhythm when I realized that even the steps backward are a part of the dance, which kind of ties into your quote. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
We saying the same thing, and one's in cursive. Yours is in cursive.
I don't know, my handwriting kind of.
No, you got that good doctor handwriting, by the way. Yes, you do.
I've been getting that a lot, bro, since I was a kid. What started off with me like wanting to piss off a teacher turned into something very magical, I guess.
That is hilarious. But to, circle back.
Circle back.
To what I was saying, you don't realize that you are living in something that you once prayed for. And, even with this podcast, this new business venture, it's something that was on the forefront for the past 2 years, something that we prayed for, something that we wanted, and here we are today. And you don't even realize until you're in the middle of it. Now, was it an easy process getting here? No.
Hell no.
But it was all a part of the dance, and that's how you find your rhythm, by going through the motions, learning the steps and doing the best that you can to the flow of the music. And I feel like we've been doing a great job at emulating that.
Absolutely. Even if you don't have rhythm.
I don't have rhythm. By the way, I am not a dancer. I can do a little chair dance.
Little 1-2.
Little 1-2 in the chair. But that's all you, babe.
Oh man, but no, I wanted to say that because like even if you don't have rhythm, as long as you're doing some type of dance move, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out.
Snap.
It's the effort and the energy that you put into it.
Absolutely.
That's all it takes.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, listen, baby, I truly appreciate every moment and every second that I do get to have with you. Stepping into this new business venture that we have. I just want to say we truly love every last one of y'all that have literally sat there, listened to our full first episode, watched the clips, like everything. Like we truly appreciate it. And I just want to say I truly appreciate you, my love, for like being that backbone, being everything that we need as a partnership for us to even create this vision for each other. And I just love you.
I love you so much. I love you so much. It's funny because I was just telling you, I think, was it earlier today, where I was saying, because, hey, shout out to you for the new merch. You did your thing with the logo. I love it. But I was watching you create, and I was like, I don't know what I would do without you. Like, this is true. Like, God really put us in this place to be each other's backbones, because there's just no way that I could see myself doing this by myself. So I love you so much. I'm so happy that you are my business partner, my partner in life, my lover, my best friend. Can't wait to have your children. And also, you guys can find us on any platform that you search. We are on Apple Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
It's okay.
I'm sleepy.
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio,
YouTube,
Spotify,
TikTok,
Podcasts,
Instagram.
everything.
Everything. But until then, We'll see y'all next time for episode 6.
Between us. Hey.